We're dialed.
Where do you
back.
think? Where do you think the marts are?
I don't know. I think the marts are just good, wholesome,
Down home.
full.
My buddy didn't like. He one time I said, "Folks, that's all, folks," on my IG, and he said that was talking down to people.
Why?
He didn't like it.
That's all, folks.
This episode is brought to you by the Taste the Origin of Nature. I always find it fascinating how when people do sponsorships, they go, that's how I hear the voice. So you'd be talking, you're like, you know what I mean, man? This episode is brought to you by, from a specific geological region of volcanic origin. I've actually never read this. Naturally carbonated source with a high mineral content. Good source of calcium and magnesium. How do you say that word?
Gerolsteiner.
Gerald Steiner. I've never been good at pronouncing. Is that what
just
I said?
Anything?
Just like words. I've always been intimidated to read in front of groups because I don't know. I feel like I can't speak that well.
Unless you've heard it before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I've like truly read it.
Right. Well, I mean, the reason that ads are louder than the production usually is because the ads are the ones that are paying for the production. So they do that on purpose. So if you watch a baseball game and it cuts to commercial, the commercials are going to be louder than the game.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that fact?
Yeah, that's a fact. Commercials are louder than the actual show. So like watch anything. Once a commercial comes on, the TV volume will, it's not the TV volume, but the volume of the whatever commercial will be higher. So you'll hear it louder.
Why is that?
Because they want you to pay attention.
Yeah.
They want you to hear the advertisement. They want you to know that they're the ones that are paying for what you're watching.
So I have this theory, and I talked to Chelsea about this a lot. But I'm so confident in the theory that I would love to go on record and say I know this to be true.
Yeah, I guess that was a theory, so I guess I don't know it to be true, but I definitely...
That's so good out of you. I just knew that was the case, too.
Okay, but go on with your theory.
Watch out for that cord on those heels of yours. Those are such Minnesota socks.
You like these socks?
I got these from California.
Those
Shout
are
out
nice.
Deuce.
Yeah.
Deuce Jim. And so something that I know is true that I've never done. I know if you took away furniture and televisions, your brain would work so much better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you can sit down and just indulge.
Well, just think of how good your body would feel if you didn't have furniture.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You'd be so free. You would never have to go to the gym.
You still would maybe want to go to the gym. But you'd probably be sitting down on the ground. You'd be stretching out.
Yeah, you'd be mobile.
You'd be mobile.
You'd be flexible.
Yeah.
Your tissue quality be through the roof. And I always talk about this because then the response to that is, well, then why don't you have furniture? And when you live with a significant other or you're at people just don't like that. Right? So it's like it just doesn't work. Like it just doesn't happen, even though we know that that's true. If we wanted to not be sold all the time on advertisements, like just throw the TVs out.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're just so used to that.
Just consumers.
And I know that it would take a few months to change your brain. I've noticed that a lot whenever I'm changing a habit. The first couple weeks is just so hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard, and then it leaves you. It's over.
When I stopped drinking coffee over Lent.
You don't drink coffee anymore?
Well, I do. I drink decaf now.
Wow.
The first 4 or 5 days were incredibly hard.
Yeah.
And it just showed me how dependent my body was on caffeine.
I felt that with alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah.
Caffeine would probably just do a number on me.
For sure. Because you're where I was, 2-3 cups a day. That's what I was ripping every single day. Morning cup, second morning cup, afternoon cup.
I don't have the afternoon cup regularly. I regularly have 2 cups.
Yeah.
That first cup, though.
Nothing better. Honestly, and decaf.
Same thing?
Well, I've been off of it now for a long time. So, yeah, I still feel the same because I like the taste.
Did you notice a difference?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, like I said, the first 4 or 5 days, like headaches. And I was still drinking decaf those first couple days. Headaches. My brain felt foggy. I didn't feel like I was doing it.
Nice, because that's what we were talking about last week's
That was
show.
last Friday.
Yeah. That was last week.
This is a new week.
It's great to keep having you out here.
It's good to be here.
It's good to have you. The coffee, I didn't know. The coffee would be tough on me because there is that in actuality that might be if that might be my favorite moment in life. It's the first cup of coffee in the morning when the kid's still sleeping, mama's still sleeping, dog ate.
Oh yeah.
Took the dog out, did the whole the bathroom thing.
Yeah.
And then it's quiet and no one's talking to you about work yet, and I pray to it. I cup my coffee. I say a little prayer to it.
Do you
thank
really?
it. Yeah. And I smell it and then I drink it.
That
And
kind of shows how reliant you are.
Yeah, and and that's what I'm saying. It's up there as the happiest I'll be the whole day. It's like the happiest moment. And when I get up in the morning, I mean, one of the reasons why I also enjoy not drinking or staying out late is because I don't want to ruin the coffee. That's how much I like the coffee.
Yeah. Sorry guys, I gotta go home.
Why do you think that is?
Morning. Because you're addicted to it.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think so too, but I don't care. That's the thing.
Yeah, 99% of America doesn't care.
Right.
For me, I just felt like it was giving me anxiety. I was crashing hard. Like I would drink a cup of coffee and I would be tired after 20 minutes.
No way.
Yeah.
I'm usually rocking and rolling until 1, and then I take a nap. But I've been doing that my whole life. I'm a napper.
Yeah.
I could nap right now.
You won't.
You won't.
You hit a nap on the podcast. That'd be incredible.
I legitimately, obviously I wouldn't do that for pure entertainment value, but I could nap on this pod. I just could. I just can nap. I don't know. I've been able to nap my whole life. Chelsea can't nap, but I can nap for 15 minutes and get up and get going.
Yeah.
I just got to close my eyes and I'll nap, and I nap like that.
Yeah.
I go down right away.
So when you're on an airplane, I
don't nap on planes because I don't like flying. I love flying. I get nervous on flying.
Why?
I've always been uneasy.
Interesting.
But I love it. That's also interesting.
Makes no sense.
No sense. And I love flying because flying is always an experience. So there's always an excitement to flying.
Yeah. Because
of the travel aspect. And then recently I actually had a friend send this to me. There was a whatever, the classic algorithm neuroscientist talking about how creativity happens on a plane. And I'd never seen that, at least to my understanding, and I've been doing that for years. The other reason why I love being on planes and flying is because I've read so many books, because that's what you're doing. You're flying. You're not anywhere else. And so it's always been so creative.
Yeah.
So I like flying for that aspect too. I like writing. I've written most of my books on flights. I read a lot on flights. I just get dialed in my mind on flights. And then when you do something on the road and then you fly home, that reflection period is so exciting to me. So I love flying.
I'm the complete opposite.
Really?
I'll fall asleep before we take off every time.
And you sleep through the whole thing?
Just about. Yeah, I usually wake up within 20 minutes of landing.
That would be so cool.
It's like a superpower.
What is that like?
I don't know.
Superpower?
It's like a superpower. Honestly, I hit the chair and I'm just like,
And you're out.
Oh, yeah. Amy was dogging on me on our last fight because I was falling asleep and I had two kids sit next to me. And she's like, you can't fall asleep. You're watching two kids. And then I turned back an hour later and she's snoozing with one kid. I'm like, so I can't do it with two, but you can do it with one?
She stayed up the whole flight?
No, she fell asleep after like an
But you
hour.
stayed up.
I stayed up the whole flight.
Wow.
Well, I'm dog tired. Because I don't know. There's something about the aroma of a plane that just makes me.
It's probably the pressure.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with like nicotine. Nicotine makes me tired. And same with caffeine. Caffeine will make me tired. Like coffee was making me really tired. I think it's because I might have some sort of ADHD or something.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. That's what TikTok told me.
Yeah, I was going to say.
The TikTok.
Probably got a hashtag or something.
Yeah.
Well, when we get your question. You're asking the first question.
Oh.
See, you forgot.
No, I didn't forget.
Okay.
I got it. At what age do backwards hats stop playing?
Well, in my case, clearly not 35 because I wear backward hats regularly.
So do I.
Okay, cool.
So does my dad, by the way.
Does he?
Yeah.
Well, I do think that a personality comes when my hat is backwards in comparison to forward.
Yeah? You playing a new character?
Yeah. Well, see, so notice how we have similar hats,
Mm-hmm.
the styles.
Yeah.
This hat is my style. I mean, I don't wear the New Era fitted. I don't like what a cool hat is supposed to look like. I think these are cool hats.
You think the New Era fitted is like the cool hat?
I mean, that's the perspective that I grew up in.
In 2006.
Yeah, that's the thing. Right?
That was 20 years ago.
It's weird that we even wear hats.
It is, yeah. It's probably, I mean, a majority of the population, especially men over 30, probably wear hats because they're balding.
Yeah, I mean, I wear hats mostly out of laziness, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it is when I get up in the morning, go get coffee, or if I go to a grocery store, or for me, I have a profession. Yeah, I have a profession that's athletic.
Yeah. So
I wear a hat all the time to just not have to worry about it. I'm wearing a hat on this podcast so I don't have to worry about the hair. Right. I can just wear a hat. And so I would say it's purely out of laziness. Mm-hmm. I also just like having a hat on because it makes me feel comfortable. I'm serious, but I'm not a very like serious person, I feel like. Oh, do you think I'm serious?
Depends on the setting.
Yeah.
I think you can be very serious. When you get into your hyper focus, you're a very serious person. But like, no, when we hang out a majority of the time, we're just bouncing off each other.
Yeah, and I think hats help with that.
Yeah, probably.
So I like hats for that reason. I think that when the question is when did backward hat become immature, basically.
Yeah,
I can't answer that
because I was thinking about wearing this hat backwards during this episode, but I was like, I don't know. I'm 31. Does a backwards hat, does it play?
Let's find out.
Let's go.
How weird is it when you take these headphones off?
Oh, it's just.
And then you put them back on.
It's like louder.
So you look good with a backwards hat on.
When you take. Thanks, man. You too.
The only thing I was concerned there was the button.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of hurt my head there for a second.
Yeah, because if you go headphones on top of the button, you can run into some head pain.
See, I certainly feel different now. Where are you at?
I'm feeling different. I'm feeling cool, man. Let's. What do the Marts have to say this week? What kind of?
I would love to know from the Marts on what their hat game is like. I think that for me, being clearly, I don't find a backwards hat inappropriate. Or immature. I do feel less savvy on this podcast now with a backwards hat on.
Less savvy.
Yeah, I don't feel as. I feel a little bit more exposed. And it might be because the bill isn't covering those lights on us, maybe. But I definitely feel more exposed. I don't like having a backwards hat.
And now you don't know how you look because you probably, I don't know, maybe you looked in the mirror before you came here. You had your hat on forward and then you put it on backwards and you're like, now it's up to the universe.
Yeah.
You're vulnerable.
Do you want to rock it out?
Yeah,
backwards
we'll rock it out.
I'm down on that for sure. I think that, I think it just depends. But I mean, I definitely still do it. And you said your dad still does it.
My
so
dad
clearly
still does it, and he's 65. So
I love that.
It always still plays, I think.
Okay, so there it is. I think we answered it. Do you want my question?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so my question is, who are you? Don't lose the marks.
Do you want to go first?
I can. I think that you just answered it by way of design and way I understand it. Because my understanding of the question, who am I, is two answers, definitively and contemplative. So that would be a contemplative example. And I guess my question off of that is, why do you contemplate it? Why do we contemplate who we are? There we go. That's the question.
I think it's because we all struggle with identification. So when you ask, who are you? I mean, I could easily rattle off, my name is Mitch Bauer. I'm from XYZ. This is what I do for work. But then immediately you're thrown into a category.
Yeah, and that makes it definitive.
Yeah.
But why is it so edgy to contemplate?
Who am I? I am a child of God.
But what is that? Isn't that still an identification?
Yeah, probably. It's just someone that's interested in learning more about who I am. Is how I would define what a child of God is.
What was my question? I said, who are you? But then I said, why do we contemplate who we are?
Yeah.
Would that answer that question?
I think so.
So say that again. So I say to you,
why do you
why do we
contemplate
who we are? That's the question.
I said that who I am is a child of God. And I said the reasoning behind it being the yawns. The yawns are necessary. Can we get a yawn counter on this? We need like a ding every time you yawn. Ding, ding.
Ding, ding. Yawn me up, kid.
But I think being a child of God is always being on the pursuit of figuring out who you are and fulfilling who you are. And who you are is I don't know. It's a tough question. I got to stick my nose back in the Bible to figure that one out.
Well, let me ask it again and just rip it off the cuff, right?
Okay.
So you kind of get some attention here. Get attention here, and they go, "What, Mitch? Why do you think we contemplate who we are?"
Because I think a majority of people don't know who they are, and I think a majority of people are trying to figure out who they are, and probably looking in a lot of the wrong places to figure out who they are.
Do you think that when we say that, because that's a very regular, generalized comment, people, do you think that a lot of times we're more so talking about ourselves or a past ourselves?
Yes, absolutely. 1,000,000%. And probably the people surrounding us in the past too.
Yeah, I asked that because...
That's such a good question. Why do you ask that?
Well, why do you think it's a good question?
Because I was not thinking it at all.
The question?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it.
I asked the question because I've noticed a repetitive pattern in human behavior is to make statements that says people do this.
And it's based off of ourselves,
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, and anytime I've ever said that,
I do that all the time.
We all do. So these are the hard parts, right? So I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with human design, the design of why we do things. So if I say the framework, this is what gets so fascinating, and use another F word, frustrating. And I can't get there. This is where I think it's the same concept of contemplation of who we are.
Okay.
And it makes it an I don't know, an inevitable I don't know. It's a regular I don't know. And you're kind of finding ways back to an I don't know. Right? So you know definitively, you can say your name, the business, your family, and then you know that you don't know. But definitively, that's how we communicate. That's how we gossip and get along. Is that we say our definitiveness, and then we can just kind of call it. We can just stop thinking because thinking is hard because it hurts. It's tiring. And so why get tired? It just doesn't make sense. Got to conserve energy, so I might as well not think. And where I'm going to bring it back to that side of it is studying the patterns of communication. Go listen to podcasts. Go listen to and I know you do this, but just talking generally to all of us, go out and listen to podcasts for a week. Listen to 3 podcasts a day, different podcasts for 7 days. It's not going to be hard to do in the landscape of society now. There's millions of podcasts available. The regularity in which you hear people like myself or us talk on a podcast and say something along what people have trouble doing, or the majority of people have you see what I'm saying? That hits on every podcast. So then it becomes, okay, so that's a pattern.
Right.
So that's a pattern that we communicate. And then you start noticing, okay, so that's a pattern. I'm going to become aware of the pattern. Once I become aware of the pattern, I notice it. So now I notice it when you say that. I notice it when I listen to that podcast say that. I notice it when I hear my parents talk to me. I notice it when I hear my friend talk to me at the bar. I notice it in the sauna. You start becoming aware of the pattern. And then when you become aware of the pattern, you realize that all of us say it.
And then you want to break that pattern.
Yeah.
You want to stop saying it.
I think the point is to become aware of it, because what I've realized of awareness of the pattern is that when I say people tend to do something, or I'm using an example, when I say most people are afraid of resistance, right? That's a common thing. The majority of people are afraid of resistance, Mitch.
Why?
Right. So it's the language of trying to try to package your language into, how does that language get packaged where you say majority of people are afraid of resistance, and you're not targeting people, you're targeting the human race, and you're included in that comment. So I'm saying I'm not exempt from the comment, because a lot of times when we say the comment, we're exempting ourselves as if we're not the majority. You see what I'm saying?
That's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounds like.
But really, you're talking about yourself.
Right.
So is that a dig? Are you taking a dig at me?
Well, yeah, 100% in a way.
Yeah.
I'm taking a dig at you for sure.
Yeah. Because I've probably said that a couple times now.
No, but I will say it too.
Yeah.
And I'm generalizing.
Right. Yeah.
I'm generalizing because I'm digging a dig at you to set the example, but I'm not taking a dig at you because you're no different than me.
Right.
And you're no different than the 100 podcasts that people can go and listen to this next week. Yeah. Because we're all going to say the same thing. And all the people who are listening to the podcast who recognize that, they might not be saying it on a podcast, but they're saying it at a coffee shop to somebody else. Or they're saying it at a park bench with somebody else. They're saying it at dinner tonight. Yeah. You listening will say that to somebody tonight, and you'll recognize it. Yeah. And that's where it becomes really humorous because that in and of itself becomes what we talk about all the time, another illusion of the experience. Yeah. It's just an illusion. To think that we're not all the same is comical, because we are. And we're just saying the same things over and over and over again. And while we're saying the same things, to find our mystical contemplative who we are, we categorize everybody else as the majority, as if we don't do that.
Come on, kid. Keep going.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's beautiful. It's almost like you wrote a book on it.
Well, the thing that bums me out about my own self is I feel like I don't want to say, I'm going to take the word can't out of that. I feel like I don't articulate that.
You articulated that really well.
Okay, but the only reason why I don't feel like I articulate that is because the actuality of that articulation would be that we would all just observe the way I'm framing it. Mm-hmm. And the actual result that I think I'm seeking is nothing, like an acceptance. But even as it gets accepted, it's still not good enough.
Yeah.
And I think that brings it all the way back to why the question, who am I, hurts. It hurts you because it's not good enough. The answer that anybody gives here, the majority of people, including myself, meaning all of us, cannot answer that to the degree in which we wish we could.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes it such a worthy question. Because even when we get to our furthest point of trying to get there, we realize we can't. And that's why I believe in God.
Wow.
Because that means there has to be a God. There has to be an energetic force that is higher than me. There's something above me, beyond me, that is truth outside of me, and I'm not that.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that I get to that is the question, who am I?
That's incredible. I mean, could probably just hang it up right there.
Is that where we're at?
That was poetic. Unless you got another one for us. I mean, that was a really good answer.
I don't even know if I knew I was answering it either, huh?
You were just letting God speak for you.
Got to get out of the way.
Coming out of you.
Got to get out of the way.
Get out of the way.
Yeah, it'd be cool with being done.
All right. Well, we've probably been going for, we've been going for 30, 35 minutes now.
26.
26.
27.
Honestly, last week I think was a little bit longer, so we could cut it short on this week. Give people their time back, and because I got to go pick up my kids anyways.
Touche. I would have loved if you would have just not brought that last part in.
We'll cut it.
Yeah. No, because I would have loved the selfishness of us wanting to end, but then acting selflessly as if we're giving people their time back. You see what I'm saying? And that's duality, folks. Love you, Marts. Cheers.